Krishna Divine Grace, E.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupāda ki Jai Shpada Brahmhamsa Pravrajagacharya Asatarashita Shri Śrīmati Divine Grace, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj ki Jai, Grantaraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki Jai, Śrīla Prabhupāda ki Jai. All glories to Assembled devotees. All glories to Assembled devotees. All glories to Assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Guru. Hare Krishna. So, welcome to our daily morning Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam class at ISKCON Detroit. Today we're going to be reading from Canto 1, this chapter 16, which is a new chapter we just started. Which is, chapter 16 is How Parīkṣit Received the Age of Kali. And we're going to be reading from text 4. So if you do not have a copy of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam in your home, please obtain one today. They're available here at the temple at any time. You can give us a call or get it from our website, or come into our store that is open every Sunday. So please get your copy of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. It is bringing the Lord into your home. It's non-different. So if you don't have the Lord in your home, please bring him today, if not yesterday. So, and we are fastly approaching the Rath Yatra Festival. So the Michigan Festival of Chariots is coming soon. It's on July 19th. Please mark your calendar. Do not miss this event. It is a spectacular festival that takes place at the Novi Civic Center starting at 11 a.m. It is the Michigan Festival of Chariots. And this year is going to be different. So they have lots of different activities as well as a new layout and format for the festival. So come check it out, see how it goes. So, and that's again on July 19th, starting at 11 a.m. at Novi Civic Center. And just real quick also, in preparation for that, this Sunday we are having our children's Rath Yatra, so our child-sized cart on Sunday. So please join us for that festival. That will be taking place over here. It starts around 7 o'clock, 7:30 in the evening, where children will get an opportunity to pull their own size Rath with Lord Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadra Mai. So please join us for that. So yes, announcements first, and now we'll get to Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So before we start, we'll just recite a quick prayer. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayam Namaskritya.
Narayana Namaskritya.
Naram Chaiva Narottamam.
Naram Chaiva Narottamam.
Devim Sarasatim Vyasam.
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam.
Tato Jayudirye.
Tato Jayam Udiraye.
Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu.
Nashtaprayasva Bhadresu.
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke.
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke.
Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki.
Bhaktir Bhagavati Naishtiki.
Okay, so Canto 1, Chapter 16, How Parīkṣit Received the Age of Kali, and Text 4. So just a quick recap too. The Pandavas have retired. During that process, they instilled Mahārāja Parīkṣit as the king now, and so he is ruling over the land now. And so previously we discussed a little bit about how he did that, who he is, how his rule was, right? Very righteous rule, he was a very wonderful Vedic king, and he ruled according to, the previous acharyas. He followed the Vedic principles and so forth. So now what is going to happen is a very transitional standpoint in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. He is going to basically meet Kali, or the start of this Kali-yuga, or the start of the decline of religious principles. So this is going to now talk about the interaction going forward. So let's read text 4, and then we will continue. Nijagra hojasa vira.
Nijagra hojasa vira.
Kalim digvijaye kvachit.
Kalim digvijaye kvachit.
Nirpalinga dharam shudram.
Nirpalingam dharam shudram.
Granatam go mithunam pada.
Gantam go mithunam pada.
Nijagra hojasa vira.
Nijagra hojasa vira.
Kalim digvijaye kvachit.
Kalim digvijaye kvachit.
Nirpalinga dharam shudram.
Rupalinga dharam shudram.
Ganantam go mithunam pada.
Ganantam go mithunam pada.
Nijagra hojasa vira.
Nijagra hojasa vira.
Kalim digvijaye kvachit.
Kalim digvijaye kvachit.
Nirpalinga dharam shudram.
Nirpalingam dharam shudram.
Ganatam go mithunam pada.
Ganantam go mithunam pada. Nijagra hojasa vira.
Nijagra hojasa vira.
Kalim digvijaye kvachit.
Kalim digvijaye kvachit.
Nupalinga dharam shudram.
Nirpalinga dharam shudram.
Ganantam go mithunam pada.
Gantam go mithunam pada. Anyone else like to try? Word for word. Nijagraha. Sufficiently punished. Ojasa. By prowess. Vira. Valiant hero. Kalim. Unto Kali. the master of the age,
the master of the age,
Digvijay,
Digvijay,
on his way to conquer the world,
on the way to conquer the world,
Kvachit,
which is
once upon a time,
once upon a time,
Nirpalinga Dharma,
Nirpalinga Dharma,
one who passes in the dress of a king,
one who passes in the dress of king,
Shudra, the lower class,
the lower class,
Gunantam,
Kanantam,
herding,
herding,
Gomitunam, a cow and bull,
a cow and bull,
Bada,
Pada,
on the leg. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupāda ki jai. Once when Mahārāja Parīkṣit was on his way to conquer the world, he saw the master of Kali-yuga who was lower than a Shudra, disguised as a king and herding the legs of a cow and bull. The king at once caught hold of him and to deal sufficient punishment. Please repeat. Once, when Mahārāja Parīkṣit was on his way to conquer the world, he saw the master of Kali-yuga, who was lower than a Shudra, disguised as a king and herding the legs of a cow and bull. The king at once caught hold of him to deal sufficient punishment. Purport. The purpose of a king's going out to conquer the world is not for self-aggrandizement. Mahārāja Parīkṣit went out to conquer the world after his ascendance to the throne, but this was not for the purpose of aggression on other states. He was the emperor of the world, and all small states were already under his regime. His purpose in going out was to see how things were going on in terms of the godly state. The king, being the representative of the Lord, has to execute the will of the Lord duly. There is no question of self-aggrandizement. Thus, as soon as Mahārāja Parīkṣit saw that a lower class man in the dress of a king was herding the legs of a cow and a bull, at once he arrested and punished him. The king cannot tolerate insults to the most important animal, the cow, nor can he tolerate disrespect for the most important man, the Brahmana. Human civilization means to advance the cause of brahminical culture and to maintain it. Cow protection is essential. There is a miracle in milk, for it contains all necessary vitamins to sustain human physiological conditions for higher achievements. Brahminical culture can advance only when man is educated to develop the qualities of goodness, and for this there is a prime necessity of food prepared with milk, fruits, and grains. Mahārāja Parīkṣit was astonished to see that a black Sudra dressed like a ruler was mistreating a cow, the most important animal in human society. I just like that line, really. Was mistreating a cow, which is actually the most important animal in human society. The age of Kali means mismanagement and quarrel. And the root cause of all mismanagement and quarrel is that worthless men with the modes of lower class men who have no higher ambition in life come to the helm of the state management. Such men at the post of a king are sure to first hurt the cow and the Brahminical culture, thereby pushing all society towards hell. Mahārāja Parīkṣit, trained as he was, got the scent of this root cause of all quarrel in the world. Thus, he wanted to stop it in the very beginning. Che. Śrīla Prabhupāda does not beat around the bush, he gives it to you straight. Which is great. Pushing all society towards hell, right?
Yeah.
These Shudra kings.
All you gotta do is turn on the television.
Yes.
Straight.
And you get all of it. So, Jay. Quick prayer before we begin. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshu Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manodishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeyam Shri Guru Shri Tapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijasaitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Saptakanchana Gauravi Radhe Vrindavanasya Vishvanustuti Devi Parnamami Haripe Vanchakalpa Turdesha Kripa Sindhu Vevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo 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 Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashata Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So reading the translation one more time. Once, when Mahārāja Parīkṣit was on his way to conquer the world, he saw the master of Kali-yuga, who was lower than a Shudra, disguised as a king and herding the legs of a cow and bull. The king at once caught hold of him to deal sufficient punishment. So, Mahārāja Parīkṣit meets the king of Kali-yuga. So it has begun, basically. So in this particular verse, lots of wonderful lessons, as always, under the guidance of Śrīla Prabhupāda and the previous acharyas. So, like I mentioned earlier, this verse marks a very turning point in this first canto. You know, up to this point, we've heard about Lord Krishna's departure, you know, how the enthronement of Mahārāja Parīkṣit, who has now become king, and now this beginning of Kali-yuga is setting in. So, and Kali himself appears personally. But it also is very significant how he appears. How is he dressed? As a king.
Oh, yeah.
Right? He doesn't come like how you would think, you know, Kali, you know, like with wearing horns, like, you know, but he, you know, he doesn't announce also that he's representing irreligion, right? He comes in this dress of a king, right? Someone who demands respect and royalty and all this stuff. So I would say that is today's first lesson. So Kali flourishes when irreligion dresses itself as religion. Right? So this is a statement that I received. So when selfishness, dresses itself as leadership. So if you think about today's leadership, how much selfishness is there, right? When exploitation in this age dresses itself up as compassion, right? How many times we hear about charities exploiting instead of actually giving compassion, right? So many things are happening right now in this particular age, right? Śrīla Prabhupāda often says that a thief can put on a police uniform, but that does not make him a policeman, right? We have Halloween. We can dress up as anything we want, right? Like, and forget even just Halloween, any time of the day, you know? So simply wearing a dress of a king does not make one a Kshatriya, or it doesn't make one, you know, qualified in that particular position. So this verse specifically says, Nirpa Linga Dharam, one who passes in the dress of a king, right? So he had the dress. He symbolized this appearance of royalty. But then when Shukadeva Goswami immediately states after that, Shudram, right? So Shudram, actually he was lower than a Shudra. So there's 4 classes, right? The 4 divisions and stuff, the Brahmanas, the Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas, and the Shudras, right? So why does Shukadeva Goswami say this? Because qualification is determined by character, right? It's not how one is dressed. Someone can dress in orange saffron, but it's the qualification that makes him either a sannyasi or whatever the position may be. It is not a kasha, right, that determines what a person is. So this brings us actually even to the Bhagavad Gita, because Lord Krishna's instructions, one of them is Chaturvarnyam Maya Shastram Guna Karma Vibhaga Shaha. The 4 divisions of society are created according to qualities and activities. So again, not dress, qualities and their activities. So a person, you know, their qualification is not based on their birth. I was born in such and such family. Great. But are you qualified? You know, what is your qualification? It's not according to election, right? We elect people left and right into different offices and stuff like that. But it doesn't mean that they're qualified to hold that even position, right? And stuff. It's not popularity. Sure, you can be popular, but what is your quality as a human? What is your character, right? So according to the qualities and the work, the activities of an individual, this is what makes an individual, their character, right? Whether they're qualified or not to do the actual activity. So this principle is one, Śrīla Prabhupāda, this principle actually that we've learned from Śrīla Prabhupāda is actually one of his greatest contributions, because he repeatedly explained that Varna Ashram is a scientific process. There's a very distinct order in society, right? Just as everybody has like a head, arms, belly, legs, right? Every society naturally has intellectuals, it has administrators, it has producers, and it has workers, right? It's just a natural, like if we break down society, it naturally exists. The problem in modern society is that these divisions no longer exist. Everyone thinks they're intellectuals when they're actually just workers, or they're like, you know what I mean? They think they're, you know, like brahmanas, but they're actually like shudras. So, and the problem is that there's very little training in society. So everyone wants to have a position of leadership, or that and this doesn't mean that, everyone wants to become president, but everyone wants to themselves be the ruler, be controlling, right? Like, I am superior, right? They have this false ego that puts them into a position where they think naturally that I am God, right? So when we boil down to it. But very few cultivate the qualities required for actual leadership. And you can be a father in a family, that's, you know, or the head of a household, that is a leadership position. Right? It doesn't mean, I'm not talking, we're talking about kings, but I'm not talking about like that. You can be a leader within your work environment. You can be a teacher like in a school and lead, you know, students. You can be, so it's the quality of that particular type of position that I'm talking about. So that particular position of leadership, like a real king, first and foremost, is a servant of God. Right? Until you understand that what is your natural position as a human being, my natural position of a human being is to be a servant of God. Das, right? Servant of a servant of a servant. So what does someone in leadership do? They protect religion. They protect these things that we are learning, morality, right? And so forth. He protects the innocent, people who cannot protect themselves against this envious nature, this greed, so many of these bad, lustful thinking that is going on in today's society. So a real leader is someone who will protect the innocent from that. He also protects the weak, someone who cannot defend itself. For example, we hear about the cow and the bull, right? And the animals. They are also citizens. They are also children of God. They are also born in the same place as we are born into. They are also spirit souls. They require equal protection as well. Someone in a position of a king or a leader, he's prepared to sacrifice his own comfort for the welfare of his citizens, the welfare of those he's taking care of. And what does Kali do? Kali does the exact opposite, right? This particular age. He uses any authority that he has to exploit. And just look at history, right? Anyone in a position of what's so-called authority exploits. We've gone through slavery. We've gone through so many different things. People conquering other people and so forth because they think they're better, right? And so whatever their thought process is. So that is a symptom of Kali, right? It's the opposite. That's why Sukadeva Goswami calls him in this, he may be the king of Kali, but he's a Shudra. And it's not because of birth, it's because of his behavior, right? Let's look at his behavior. So what makes someone a Brahmana? So Śrīla Prabhupāda would often ask this question, is one a Brahmana because he takes birth in a particular family? No, right? We've heard this over and over again. Bhagavad Gita gives the qualification. There's a verse in Bhagavad Gita, Samo Dhamma Tapa Shaucham Shantir Arjavam Evacha Jnanam Vijnanam Ashitkiyam Brahma Karma Swabhava Jam. So a Brahmana, if we look at their qualifications, not birth, but they're peaceful, right? They have sense control. They can control the mind. They're clean. They're tolerant. They are simple, knowledgeable. Not only just knowledgeable, realize knowledge. And they have faith in God. These are all the symptoms of a Brahmana. If these qualities are absent, which we can see in the age of Kali, then merely claiming to be a Brahmana has very little meaning, right? It's very difficult to find someone who has all these symptoms actually in this day and age. So Śrīla Prabhupāda, he demonstrated this, and Śrīla Prabhupāda was obviously the perfect example of this, right? And he demonstrated this practically too. What did he do when he came to this country, right? Who was he meeting? People that were completely opposite of these Brahman qualities, right? But he accepted those that were sincere, right? Sincere devotees. From every continent he traveled in. And he trained them how to become and how to live in this brahminical life, right? Because this is something that can be learned. This is something that can be habit changing, forming, so forth, right? We can all learn to be peaceful, control the mind, be able to have this realized knowledge, faith in God, right? To be peaceful. I mean, my Prabhu always says, you didn't wake up this morning basically, to be unhappy. You woke up to be happy, right? To be peaceful, to be, satisfied. So all of these qualifications are things that can be developed, with the proper guidance. So he emphasized also that in order for us to obtain this qualification, we have to purify. And how do we purify? through devotional service. Because devotional service purifies one's character, right? It goes hand in hand. Now, why is Kali attacking a cow or a bull? We read in this particular purport, a cow and a bull are not ordinary animals. These are very specific and particular animals. A bull is a representation of religion, right? He is the father. He's considered actually one of our fathers, and so forth. So specifically, a bull is representing dharma, and he's standing on 4 legs. And these 4 legs are the representation of dharma. One of them is truthfulness, right? The last remaining one that Kali is hitting is truthfulness. So these 4, principles of religion that the bull represents, if we destroy the bull, if we kill the bull, this is what brings on your religion. And we know this is happening in today's society. Just look at the slaughterhouses. Look what's on people's plates, right? So the cow similarly represents Mother Earth. So we have Father the bull, who helps us actually plow the fields, who helps us grow, fruits and vegetables and everything that is needed to sustain, provides us with the cow and, the continuation of the cow and the milk and so forth that is required for our brains, for our age, for our health. So Mother Cow represents the earth, and also she represents compassion, right? So Kali attacks religion and compassion first, right? He didn't go and attack a village or people, right? He didn't go and conquer something, right? Dressed as a king, right? Who did he attack first? A cow and a bull. Compassion and religion is what he's attacking. So whenever society moves away from God consciousness, compassion naturally will decrease. So, and what also happens? Violence increases. When a society has very little compassion, we see an increase of violence within that society. Truth also becomes negotiable, right? If we just look in today, who to trust, right? This question comes up so often today, who to trust? So this is what happens when when society moves away from God consciousness. When compassion decreases, violence increases also. Truth becomes, who do we trust? It becomes negotiable. What's the truth, right? Cleanliness declines, right? People today participate in so much intoxication, marijuana is legal now, so many things, drinking, this, that, and the other. So much is intoxication, gambling, all of these things, meat eating. It destroys this cleanliness, right? And mercy disappears. Think about in our particular lives, how much mercy we have received from devotees, from people who are God conscious, how they give us the ability to do things. It all goes away, right? When God consciousness goes away. So the Bhagavatam personifies these principles through the cow and the bull. This is what they're, when we attack these animals, this is what's being destroyed. So Śrīla Prabhupāda emphasized that the cow is especially protected in Vedic civilization. We actually chant this, Go Brahman Hitaya Cha, right? Like when we do our prayers, we say how important it is to protect the cows and the brahmanas. So some people may ask, why cows? Why not protecting the dogs or the cats or something else, right? Why cow? Because the cow gives also without taking. She gives milk throughout her life, right? From milk, we receive yogurt, butter, cheese, ghee, countless preparations, right? Ghee is offered in sacrifice. When we offer a sacrifice to the Lord, right? When we pour ghee onto that, and what is that sacrifice? That's the mouth of the Lord itself, the mouth of Lord Vishnu. So when we're pouring ghee, that is also comes from mother cow. Mother cow gives us milk, which nourishes our brain, so that we can actually understand spiritual knowledge, right? And therefore, the cow is, I keep saying mother cow because she is accepted as one of our mothers. We receive this nourishment from mother, right? From the minute we were born, who gave us the nourishment to live, to survive. Without mother, in the beginning, we would not even be here today, right? So, similarly, the cow nourishes human society, and therefore, civilized people protect her. As I mentioned earlier, Gro Brahmana Hitaya Cha, right? This expression comes in our prayers. The welfare of cows and brahmanas. And why do we mention them together, right? Because we talk about that. Because one nourishes the body, the cow nourishes the body, and the brahmanas nourish the soul, okay? So cows supplying nourishment, but the brahmanas are supplying transcendental knowledge. If we look at our disciplic succession, right? If we look at all the things we learn from Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, right? Who are spreading all this information? It is the brahmanas. Who gives this knowledge? It is the brahmanas, right? So when both are protected, civilization will prosper. And when both are neglected, society becomes spiritually bankrupt, actually, right? Because we need both of them. We need the cows and the brahmanas. And that's exactly what Mahārāja Parīkṣit understood, right, from his teachings when he was taught. And that's why he was going around in the kingdom. He was trying to make sure that the brahmanas and the cows were protected, that irreligion has not come about. He doesn't wait in the palace to hear these reports. He actually goes out and personally observes the citizens. This is genuine leadership too, right? A leader must know what's happening in its jurisdiction. Not simply, waiting for advisors or trying to hear statistics and so forth, but he personally takes responsibility. Śrīla Prabhupāda often explained that the king's first duty was protection. And protection does not mean having, like as we hear today, like how many nuclear weapons do we have? And this person should not have nuclear weapons. So it's not military defense we're talking about. Protection means protecting people from irreligion. That is what, protecting women, protecting children, protecting the elderly, protecting cows, protecting saintly people. These are the things that need to be protected. So, when we create this type of atmosphere and everyone is protected, it's very favorable for spiritual advancement. Bhagavad Gita 3:29, very famous verse says, Prakritir guna sammuda sajante guna karmashu tan Kṛṣṇa vido madnan Kṛṣṇa ven na vichalayat. Please forgive me. Those bewildered by material nature become attached to material activities. But the learned should not necessarily disturb them, but should gradually elevate them. So this is what leadership is, right? When the blind follow the blind, the whole society becomes blind, right? So, but a person in that position, person who takes that position, has to elevate society to an even better position, right? Continue to elevate them. So leaders are educators, right? So supporting teachers who educate, not only material education, but support those who give spiritual education as well, right? Because it's to guide, not to exploit, right? We don't want to exploit. So what does Mahārāja Parīkṣit do? He does not ignore Kali. What did he do? He punished, right? He wanted to stop it. So he doesn't act whimsically, it's okay, let it go, or whatever. He confronts irreligion with intelligence. And this is very essential. Śrīla Prabhupāda would sometimes say that the state should be like a father. A father protects, right? Father both corrects, educates, right? Not because he hates a child, right? This is not done out of torment or anything. It's because he loves the child, right? Why does a father do all these things? Why does a father punish? Because he loves the individual, right? The child. And so similarly, Vedic civilization was never like a revenge thing. It's all about purification, and it's all about love, right? If there is anything that needs punishment, it is done, or if there needs to be any correction, it is done through love, not to further anyone's position. So, I know time is going by quickly, so we want to, for the most part, in order for us to fight off Kali, we need to purify. And the best way we've learned from Śrīla Prabhupāda to purify is Shravanam, which is hearing from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, hearing from the brahmanas, hearing from, Śrīla Prabhupāda, and so forth. When we hear this information too, we should also give to others, kirtana, right? Chanting the holy names, but also, if you learn something that can help society, educate someone else. Teach them, right? Serving the Vaishnavas, following these 4 regulative principles. These 4 regulative principles uphold Father Bull. It upholds these 4 principles of dharma, right? So no meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, and no gambling, right? These 4 things, if we do not participate in these things, if we protect against these things, then and then society will be elevated. So today, 3 lessons basically. One was that leadership is determined by qualification and not by appearance. Don't be dressing around, with a crown on your head from Burger King or anything like that. So, right, qualify ourselves. Make sure that we learn from the proper sources and we purify and become qualified so that we can teach others. Second, civilization depends on this dharma, right? Which is represented by the bull and the cow, compassion. So upholding religious principles, upholding compassion is very important if we want society and civilization to prosper. And third, every devotee, as we are learning all this stuff, we should strive to genuinely develop these brahminical qualities. To be peaceful, to be truthful, to be clean, all of these qualities, and use whatever influence Kṛṣṇa has given to protect, this brahminical culture. And follow Mahārāja Parīkṣit's example, right? He doesn't just sit around in the palace waiting. He went out to protect, right? So the Sankirtan movement is meant for us to go out, to give this information, to protect society from this irreligion that is coming about very quickly. And this was the mission of Śrīla Prabhupāda. He came here at such an advanced age just to give this. He didn't have to, right? But he knew that this was necessary. So, and this is ISKCON's mission, right? This is the sole purpose of ISKCON, is to spread this brahminical culture, to create what Śrīla Prabhupāda would call first-class men and women, who led by character, who had compassion, and who are devoted to God, devoted to Kṛṣṇa. So let us try our best to do this on a daily basis. And sometimes people may think, oh, I'm just one devotee. What can I do, right? You can change one person's life. You never know. Your actions could change someone's life. The words you use could change someone's life, right? So don't think just, oh, I'm one devotee, what can I do? I'm not in a position of authority, I'm not this or whatever. You still can make a difference, right? You never know. Your actions, your character, your example is something that someone else will adapt because they can see how happy and peaceful you are, right? So your influence is big in the world. Jai, thank you very much. Please forgive me if I misstated anything in for my Sanskrit. Śrīla Prabhupāda ki jai, Grantharaj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Lord Premananda. All words jai. Hare Krishna. Any thoughts, questions, comments, realizations of your own?
Sorry, not to be your class.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. So, thank you very much. Thank you for your patience.
What are the key takeaways for today's class?
Basically, we want to develop our qualification, right? Develop our brahminical qualities and so forth. Because Kali-yuga, it's started, right? Because Mahārāja Parīkṣit now has met the Kali dressed. So the way we dress, the way a person is on the outward is not what, is something that we should follow. It's the qualification of an individual. So as we purify, as we develop these qualities of a brahmana, we also have to protect the cows, which is representative of compassion. We have to protect, the brahmanas who uphold this religion, because together, right, is what will bring society up, versus all these, lust, anger, greed, all these things will push society down, right? This irreligion. So that, and then, simply like, we have such wonderful examples in our society. And again, be the educator. A leadership is someone who educates and helps someone become better. So that's what we should do. Take these brahminical qualities, educate someone, and make them better. So,
Nice.
hopefully that helps. Jai. Thank you. Grantharaj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.